Hello YouTube, this is Chris from ECHSTeamMILE giving another look at my Dragonsworn Deck profile. I know I've already uploaded a video of this, but I think I would like to go ahead and give you a deck tech profile about it. I'd like to show you how I use all the cards in the deck and how they all work well together. I consider this a tournament worthy deck, and if you'd like to net deck it, you can go ahead and do that. First, I'm going to go ahead and run off and show you all the cards and then tell you how they all work together. Before I start this though, I would like to, all of us from ECHSTeamMILE would like to give a huge shout out to Zeromus5555. He is a great Yu-Gi tuber. He puts out great quality videos and I highly recommend going to him. He's pretty well known in the Yu-Gi-Oh YouTube community, but if you haven't seen any of his videos, just click on the link below in the description. Alright, moving on. I'm going to do this just like I usually do my normal videos. This is the dragon portion of my deck, and I'll just let it go. I run one Dark Flare, one Dark Arm Dragon, two Eclipse Wyverns, two Red Eyes Darkness Metals, and three Light Pulsar Dragons. That's it for the dragons, and I'll give you the details right after the video. Right after this segment, sorry. For the Lightsworns, one Aaron, one Lumina, one Jane, one two Raiko, two Lila, and then a Judgment Dragon to complete the set. Pretty simple. Onto the support cards of the deck. One Phantom of Chaos, one Plague Spreader Zombie, one Honest, one Card Trooper, one Sangan, two Effect Failure, need this in just about every deck, one Gores, one Chaos Sorcerer, one BLS. If you're thinking this is the BLS that we were previously going to auction, it is not. This is a second copy of it. And this is the $20 version, the cheaper version. So, yes, that's just about it. This is the Starfoil Tour Guide that we are giving away in our giveaway video. If you haven't applied for that video, subscribe to the channel or anything, we'll go ahead and put a link. I'm going to see if you can see the Starfoil. Yeah, there you go. This is the one we will be giving away. And then these are my other two. There is one more of these up for sale on eBay, but it may, by the time this video comes up, it may be gone. One Charge of the Light Brigade for the spells. A Monster Reborn. A Future Fusion. A Heavy Storm. Dark Hole. 3 Solar Recharge, 3 Forbidden Lance, and then the only trap in the deck, which I have changed, Treacherous Trap Hole. It's a great card. I recommend it for most decks. If you're running Spell and Monster Heavy, this is a quick, fast deck, and you can get a lot going in one turn. Alright, now I'm going to go ahead and show you how the deck works. If you don't know already, Dragonsworn decks work by using cards like Light Pulsar Dragon and Dark Flare and Chaos Sorcerer. All these cards that special summon onto the field by removing a light and a dark from play in your graveyard. These are the main cards of the deck. So you get all these cards on the field by removing a light and a dark from play in your grave. In order to do that, you need to get cards in the grave though. So the Lightsworns work well with that by putting them all in the grave. There's many different combos you can go for wins. This is just one of them to get these cards out. The reason I run 3 Light Pulsar Dragons is because the card is broken. You can special summon it from the grave or your hand. From the hand by removing a light and a dark in the grave, and from the grave by sending a light and dark from your hand to the grave. So if you have one of these in your hand and in the grave, you can send a light and a dark from your hand to the grave to special summon one from the grave, And then you can banish those 2 that you just sent to the grave to special summon another from your hand. Combined with the milling of the Lightsworns, you go ahead and get Red Eyes Darkness Metals in the grave. When these get destroyed, no matter how they do, the only way that this won't work is if someone uses Soul Taker. I think that's the name of the card, which I don't understand why, but it negates this effect, makes it miss its timing, or by tributing them. You do not get their effect if you tribute them. Those are the only 2 ways you don't get their effect, but any means of destroying them, you get to pull out a level 5 or higher Dark Dragon from your grave. So these are your 3 targets. And you pull out this guy and then you bring him back. So it's just an endless cycle, and it works really well together. So that's one of the many options you have in this deck. You use the Wyverns. I exclusively use the Wyverns for Judgment Dragon and Dark Arm Dragon, or Dad. I only use them for this because I feel that all these cards are so easy to get out that it doesn't matter if I draw into them or if they go into the grave, I'll get them out anyway. But these cards, I need specific reasons, specific setups in the graveyard, and I have to prepare for them. So if this guy gets milled into the grave and I put Dark Armed, I want to keep my darks. I don't want to keep many darks in the grave. I want to stay around 3 or 4. That way I can control the grave and get him out. In order to special summon him, you need to have exactly 3 darks in your grave. And then once you do, you can basically wipe the entire field. Speaking of wiping the entire field, Judgment Dragon does that. Once you have 4 Lightsworns with different names in your grave, I run 5 different Lightsworns total, plus the copies here, because those are the most useful ones. If you have 4 different names in your grave or more, you can special summon this guy, and his effect is you pay 1,000, and you pay 1,000 and you destroy every other card on the field but himself. So if you get this guy out, you have a Light Pulsar on the field, and you have a Red Eyes Darkness Metal in your grave. You can go for FTK or OTK here by paying 1,000, wiping the field. Light Pulsar's effect, bring back Red Eyes Darkness Metal. Red Eyes Darkness Metal's effect, bring back Light Pulsar. Plus, if your grave is controlled, I mean right here, this is enough damage to end it. Just right here, you go for 8,300 damage. So that is a really good setup that you want to get going in the deck. The reason I run the tour guides is pretty simple. This is the reason you run them in any deck, but one reason is I run them for grave control, summon, bring out another dark, then I'll go Leviathan, then I'll detach one, send it to the grave. Then I might sit there and think I need another dark in the grave to get out Dark Armed. I'll already have Gores in the grave. So I'll banish Leviathan for Red Eyes Darkness Metal. This goes to the grave. I now have my 3 in the grave to get Dark Armed out and go to work. There's a lot of different chains you can go for, and that's just one of the ones I go for. See, my favorite thing about this deck is there's so many options. This may be a lot like the ones you see on YouTube, but it's a good deck because of all the options. I'm sure next ban list that they will be hitting, they probably will be limiting Tour Guide, but they might not because it's an XYZ card, and they want to keep promoting that and making money off the XYZs. They may ban BLS, but I think they can unban him so that people would be searching for this guy because he costs so much. Another card they might be hitting, they probably will, is Red Eyes Darkness Metal. I wouldn't be surprised if he got limited because that card does so much. It's so easy to get out a 28 beater with him. They may ban Dark Arm Dragon. Who knows? But I don't consider that card to be broken. Light Pulsar Dragon is probably going to be limited, semi-limited. And I think that's about it. One card that works really well in this deck for support is for dealing 5,300 damage on one turn. This happens frequently, believe it or not, is I'll have nothing. I'll have no setup, and I'll have this guy. And my grave will just be like that thick. His effect is you banish a card in the grave, you gain its effect, and attack till the end phase of the turn. But your opponent takes no damage from this card. So you'll sit there and you'll normal summon him. And then you'll go ahead and banish Judgment Dragon while you have a Light Pulsar on the field. So you destroy everything but himself, go for Red Eyes, go for Light Pulsar, and then you just did 53 damage in one turn. Phantom of Chaos works really well with all the cards that you end up milling into the grave but you can't use. And that's about it. I think I run 13 darks and 17 or 18 lights. You want to run more lights in this deck because of Dark Arm Dragon. You need more grave control over your darks. You run cards like Play Spreader, which you can special summon out of the grave. Cards that you can get out of the grave so that if you needed to go down 2 cards to 3 darks in the grave, you can get him out. And you can special summon him by banishing a dark, and then there you got your 3, and then you just put Dad on the field. So that's the main way the deck works. The only dead draws you really can get are just Lightsworns, but then they just get all your cards in the grave and they start off everything. Treacherous Trap Hole, I used to run Royal Decree, but it's just a free destroy 2 cards on the field. You can't have more than one of these in your deck because if you have one in the grave, if you have any trap in the grave, then you can't activate this card. Forbidden Lance, just a great card in itself. If your opponent attacks with a higher beater than you, you target it and it loses attack. If it's got some kind of boost on it from like equip cards, it loses its attack. Plus, it can't be affected by other spells and traps, so it loses that boost by the equip card. And you can also use it if your opponent like Dark Holes. You chain it and you put it on your monster, and your monster stays safe because it's unaffected by spells and traps. So I recommend this in any deck. I run the 3 solar recharges to get cards cycled. You want to thin your deck as much as possible. The only decks you really have trouble with that I can think of are, I'd have to say MiLE. That'd be like the toughest deck for you to play because they're trying to make you mill your deck as you are yourself. And then all these cards you just need. If you get this in your hand with charge, it's a great combo. You mill 3, get a Lightsworn, then throw it in the grave, draw 2, mill 2 more. And then your grave is full of lights and darks, and you can start special summoning the crap out of it. This has been Chris from ECHSTeamMILE. Don't forget to go check out Zeromus5555's page. He's a great Yu-Gi tuber, and he's got great videos. Go check out his deck profiles, and I think his most recent video is his Karakuri deck. So go ahead and check that out. This has been Chris from ECHSTeamMILE, signing out.